Hi there, happy hump day and welcome to Wednesday. So I've recently been catching up on some reading, and one of the books that I've just finished was Gretchen Rubin's book, The Happiness Project. And one of the quotes that really stands out for me in that book was, "The days are long, but the years are short." Now I like the sentiment that's captured by those thoughts, and yet I can sometimes also find that the days feel short too. It can be really easy to get to the end of the day and still feel as though you haven't got everything done that you wanted to get done. That to-do list just seems to keep getting longer. So I've always lived my life by the motto, life's an adventure. And with that motto, it can be really easy to try and pack way too much in the day. So if you're like me and you often try to do too much, pack too much into one day, and you're trying to find how do you make sure you're getting the most out of every single day, here's some things to consider. Firstly, start it well. And by starting it well, that means you actually are starting the night before, because the most important thing is to get a good night's sleep. Most of us are chronically sleep deprived, and all the research shows that. And look, I know it can seem really boring. It's so much more fun to stay up really late and to do different things. But when you sleep well, you wake up the next day and you feel refreshed. Sleep is restorative. It's your brain's time to make sure that the body is doing all the things that it needs to do to clean stuff out of the system. When you don't get enough sleep, you're effectively starting your working day with the same sort of impact cognitively as if you were turning up to work drunk. And I don't know when it was a good idea that you turn up to work drunk, and yet we often can turn up to work or our working day sleep deprived. Just as you're starting your day well by making sure you're getting enough sleep, also start it well by kicking the day off, doing something like meditation, exercise, something that helps to get the body and the mind into the right frame of reference. Also, keep it simple. It can be really easy to overcomplicate your life and to fill it up with things that just don't really matter, that don't add value. And so then we feel like we're running hard just to keep up with everybody else. So get really clear on what it is that you want out of life, because when you're clear on what you want in life, it's so much easier to say, no, I'm not doing that. Say no to things that aren't adding value to your life. You don't need to keep up with the people around you. Run your own race, live your own life. And to do that, it can really help to have like guiding principles that provide almost like guardrails that help you work out what you're saying yes to and what you're saying no to. For me, some of the principles that I have, and I've got these principles written down and they're stuck on the wall in my office. And as I mentioned earlier, one of them is to live my life as an adventure. And that means I like to do things that are different, to learn new things, to go to different places. But I want to make sure that each day is mattering, that I'm nourishing my body and my soul. I want to bring music into my life. I read daily. I also make sure that I have time each day for my husband, who's the most important part of my life. So once you get those principles committed to paper, then it becomes easier to make sure that you've got that compass and that you're going to refer to them. So next time you're faced with a choice, you can ask yourself, if I do this, will it overly complicate my life? If I do this, am I stepping over one of those principles? One of those things that I have said matters to me? Do I really need it? What would it look like if I said no to this? And if I didn't do it, how's that going to impact my life? Next, be deliberate. So once you've got your principles, once you know what are the things that really matter to you in your life, it then becomes much easier to be deliberate, to focus on the things that really do matter. And that also means that you need to sometimes pause and take time to reflect and take stock before you just jump right into something. You're reflecting on your actions, you're reflecting on impacts, and you're reflecting on outcomes. And when you're deliberate, it actually saves you time and energy, because you get deliberate at the start of each day about what it is that you want to get done that day. Write it down. Think about how you can work your day into time blocks, because the research shows that we're most effective when we're working in kind of 30 to 60-minute time blocks. And you're focusing in those time blocks on that particular task that you have outlined. And lastly, one of the key things for getting the most out of each day is at the end of the day, reflecting on your day, being grateful for what you have, grateful for what you have around you, for what you've achieved and what you've experienced. It's so easy for us to focus on the things that we don't have. And yet, even in times of change and uncertainty and what can feel like chaos, there are always things to be grateful for. Even if those things that you're grateful for at that point in time can feel really small. You're grateful because the sun was shining, or you're grateful because you had a really nice cup of tea. You're grateful because you had a great night's sleep, or because you had some time to talk to a friend that you haven't spoken to in a while. So at the end of each day, stop, pause, find some time to think about what you're grateful for. I love the quote from Eckhart Tolle, who says, "Life is an adventure, not a package tour." And sure, not many of us are doing package tours at the moment or really going anywhere, but life still is an adventure. There is so much for us to experience. So if life is an adventure, what does that look like for you? You have a choice to go fast, to go slow. There's no right or wrong with this. It's about what works best for you. Take care. I'll see you next week.